Before Napoleon Bonaparte became a legend, before Europe trembled at his name, he was a lonely, awkward young man from Corsica, an outsider who never truly belonged. Born into minor nobility, Napoleon was mocked for his accent, his poverty, his ambition. At military school, he was not admired, he was isolated. While other boys laughed and flirted, Napoleon read endlessly, dreaming not of love, but of greatness. Yet beneath the ambition was a hunger, not just for power, but for affection. He wrote obsessively in his journals, romantic fantasies filled with intensity and longing. Napoleon didn't want casual love. He wanted devotion, total loyalty. A woman who would see him as extraordinary when the world still doubted him. This emotional emptiness shaped him. It made him obsessive. It made him insecure. And it made him vulnerable to the most tragic love of his life. Because when love finally arrived, Napoleon didn't fall gently. He fell violently. And that intensity, the same fire that would later conquer nations, would also destroy his heart. Her name was Josephine de Beauharnais, elegant, sophisticated, older than Napoleon, a widow with connections, charm, and a past filled with secrets. She was everything Napoleon was not. Where he was rigid, she was graceful. Where he was intense, she was playful. Where he was desperate for love, she remained emotionally distant. Napoleon fell instantly. He didn't court her. He idolized her. To Napoleon, Josephine wasn't just a woman. She was proof that he had finally arrived. That the awkward Corsican outsider was worthy of Parisian society. Worthy of love. Josephine saw something else. A rising star. A man with ambition burning brighter than anyone she'd known. Their attraction was unequal from the beginning. Napoleon loved Josephine more, and that imbalance would haunt him forever. Still, in 1796, just days before leaving for war, Napoleon married her. He left for battle believing his heart was safe. He was wrong. While Napoleon conquered Italy, he wrote Josephine letters drenched in obsession. Every moment away from you is agony. I cannot live without you. Do not betray me. Sometimes he wrote multiple letters in a single day. Josephine rarely replied, and when she did, her letters were short, polite, distant. Napoleon sensed it. From the battlefield, surrounded by death and glory, he feared one thing more than enemy armies: losing her love. Rumors reached him, whispers of affairs, parties, lovers. Napoleon burned with jealousy. The man who could command thousands could not command the heart of one woman. His victories grew. His paranoia grew faster. Love for Napoleon was not comfort. It was torture. In 1814, news reached Napoleon. Josephine was dead. He was devastated. Witnesses said he locked himself away. He stared at her letters, her memories. He whispered her name. Josephine. Even after crowns, armies, and empires, she was the woman his heart never released. Her death marked the true end of Napoleon. Everything after was survival. In 1814, Napoleon was defeated. Not killed, not executed, but exiled. He was sent to the tiny island of Elba, a ruler without a throne, a legend without an empire. Surrounded by silence, Napoleon finally faced something he had avoided his entire life: himself. No generals, no cheering crowds, no battlefield distractions, only memories. And among them, one face returned again and again: Josephine. He spoke her name often. He reread her letters obsessively. He imagined conversations that would never happen. For the first time, Napoleon understood the cost of his choices. He had traded love for power, and now he had neither. Napoleon escaped Elba. France erupted. For 100 days he ruled again. The world held its breath. But something was different. The fire remained. The certainty did not. Marie-Louise did not return to him. His son was kept away. Old allies hesitated. This time, Napoleon was fighting not just Europe, but fate. And fate had already decided. Waterloo was not just a battle. It was a reckoning. Rain soaked the battlefield. Confusion ruled the ranks. Decisions came too late. Napoleon lost, not just the war, but everything. As he fled, witnesses said he looked distant, broken. The conqueror of Europe had become a prisoner of history. And still, his thoughts returned to love. To what might have been. Napoleon was sent to St. Helena, a remote island in the middle of the ocean. This exile was permanent. Here, time slowed. Napoleon aged rapidly. His health declined. His power evaporated, but his memories sharpened. He spoke of Josephine more than anyone else. Not his victories, not his enemies, her. He admitted his greatest regret. I was wrong to leave her. The empire was gone. Only remorse remained. On St. Helena, Napoleon realized a brutal truth. He had conquered nations, but failed at love. He had inspired fear, but not loyalty in those closest to him. In his final years, Napoleon was not haunted by war. He was haunted by absence, the absence of the woman who loved him imperfectly, and whom he loved completely. On St. Helena, Napoleon was watched constantly, every movement recorded, every word noted, every weakness observed. The man who once commanded Europe now asked permission to walk. His health deteriorated, stomach pain, weakness, fever. But what hurt him most was not illness, it was loneliness. Marie-Louise never came, his son never came, only memories visited him, and among them, Josephine still ruled. As death approached, Napoleon spoke more freely. He admitted fear, regret, love. He told those around him that power had blinded him. That ambition had cost him the one person who truly mattered. In moments of clarity, he said, "Had I kept her, I might have been happier." These were not the words of a conqueror. They were the words of a man who understood loss too late. In 1821, Napoleon lay dying. The room was silent. As his breathing slowed, witnesses recorded his final murmurs. France, the army, Josephine. Her name was spoken last. Not his crown, not his empire. Her. In death, Napoleon returned to the love he never escaped. History remembers Napoleon as a tyrant, a genius, a conqueror, but rarely as a lover. His letters reveal obsession. His actions reveal insecurity. His regrets reveal humanity. Napoleon did not fail because he loved too little. He failed because he loved without balance. Love fueled his rise and deepened his fall. Napoleon's life teaches a brutal lesson. You can conquer the world and still lose the one thing that matters most. Empires collapse, crowns rust, but love leaves scars that outlive history. Napoleon Bonaparte did not die as an emperor. He died as a man, still whispering the name of the woman he should never have let go. Napoleon Bonaparte is remembered as a military genius, but behind the strategy was a man deeply ruled by emotion. His greatest weakness was not overconfidence. It was not ambition. It was love. Napoleon loved intensely, obsessively, and without restraint, and when that love was threatened, his judgment suffered. Historians believe many of his rash decisions, his impatience, his paranoia, were shaped by emotional instability. Josephine was not just his wife, she was his emotional anchor. When she was gone, Napoleon lost balance. Napoleon's love letters remain among the most revealing in history. They show jealousy, desperation, vulnerability. "This absence drives me mad," he wrote. "I love you more each day." These were not the words of an emperor. They were the words of a man afraid of abandonment. Through these letters, we see the real Napoleon, not the conqueror, but the wounded lover. Josephine was not weak. She survived revolution, prison, and loss. She shaped Napoleon socially, emotionally, and politically. She softened him, and perhaps she restrained him. Without her, Napoleon ruled alone, unchecked, unbalanced. Her absence may have accelerated his downfall. Napoleon believed destiny favored him, but destiny took from him what he valued most. He achieved immortality, but not happiness. His story proves one truth. You can command armies, but not hearts. Love is not conquered, it is chosen. And Napoleon lost the only war that truly mattered. Napoleon's empire collapsed, but his love story endured, because behind every great man is a human heart capable of breaking. Napoleon Bonaparte died far from home, far from power, but close to memory. And in the end, history remembers his battles, but his heart remembers Josephine.